Hey everybody, welcome to a new video. Today I was thinking about just having a small discussion video, and it's so warm both inside and outside, so I don't really have that much energy today. I was thinking about doing a little video about digital art because as some of you might have noticed, I have put on my Twitter that I do digital art in the description. This video goes out to everyone who is interested about that and doing that at the moment. All that I can say is that when I was young, I kind of come to one point where I noticed that my dad was kind of good at drawing. He used to draw and do some paintings and stuff like that. I think that I got that interest from him. I had this interest about art long before I started this channel. So I was thinking about, I just show up some things that I've done and talk a bit about it and give some tips and tricks and recommendations from my point of view. All I can say is that, I've been doing different kind of art, both 2D and 3D art, both drawing, and I have been working a lot with 3D. So that's why I have, back at my place I have a pretty good computer, and that is why I want to have that, to kind of work with both 3D and 2D art. I also delved into trying, animation and stuff like that. I'm not really a pro at it, so there's nothing that I want to show about that. But I was just thinking about showing some stuff that I have worked with and give my opinions about it. Well, I have kind of different things that I want to show. Some are just screenshots, and some are some more things that I worked on that I put on my portfolio that I have. So let's head right into it. So the first thing that I want to show you is a very simple thing that I did a while ago. It's very basic, very simple, and it's just a guy fishing on a small island. Basically, I try to make it look like water, but every time I showed this picture, they were like, people said like, is he floating in the air or something like that? And they thought it was clouds and he was floating or something in the air. That's basically where I started to show off my 3D stuff. I liked it very simple and see what I can do in a very fast time. I tried to make something very fast and just put it out, basically. So I had something out, I wasn't sure if I was gonna include these, but these are just basically test images where I tested like different materials. We have silver and we have gold, and these are materials that is placed on a very basic monkey head 3D model, and this was to try out to make very real kind of materials with silver and gold. Then I tried to do some sculpting, and here I have removed some of these images. I'm not sure if I can find it again. I was trying to search everywhere for it, but we have some, the first image that I want to show you is basically my first serious attempt at trying to do something cool. Also something that won't take, forever to do. And this is all, 3D, and also this was when I started to do some sculpting in 3D software. So that was very interesting to try out. Next we have 2 paintings that I kind of want to show. Not 2 paintings, but 2 sketches kind of, or drawings, yeah. It's when I was drawing, I tried to make this female character. I'm not really sure why, but it just fit the kind of image that I had in my head. And I always try to, you know, people, they start by drawing these lines kind of, and they continue with doing ellipses and circles, just to see how the character will look, and that the anatomy of the character comes together. But I never do that, really. I kind of just start off with the head right away. I have a basic strategy that works pretty well when drawing, so that's what I used so far. So yeah, here you go. Here's that female character that I draw. And it took I think it took one evening/night to draw this. So yeah, that's about that. And the next picture that I want to show you is for the YouTube channel. And now we changed it, but we used to have a header on the YouTube channel, and I wanted to make something that kind of represents my adventure on YouTube, along with my girlfriend. So I made 2 characters that is me and my girlfriend, and we are running on this road, and behind us are these kind of creatures following along when we are running. I'm not sure if many people know this, but I wanted to have some meaning behind these silly, let me just bring it up here. Some meaning behind this silly kind of image. So I thought that maybe the hills that we kind of run on, it represents, the rocky road to YouTube, because nothing comes easy, right? So it's a very tough and rocky ride. And the road is basically the road to YouTube. And me and my girlfriend are running on it. And behind us are some creatures. You can see one of them is falling down right there. These are meant to, represent the subscribers, kind of trying to keep up with what we're doing. So I thought that was just a nice little image that I want to throw in there. So if we continue here, we have something that we go back to 3D a bit more. We have this machine or robot that I tried to do. It is my first attempt at trying to do a robot. I was kind of inspired by something. No, I was, looking at a lot of cyberpunk stuff, with machines and robots going on everywhere. I'm trying to find inspiration for this more science fiction kind of theme. Also, I want to try to do some post-processing in Photoshop, because I never really done post-processing in Photoshop before. So this picture right here is a robot that is basically, just on the ground. There you can see some cables and stuff coming out from it, and it's currently offline, I guess. So that's it. It's nothing more than that. It was just my first attempt at trying to do some robot thing, something different from characters. Then I do something even more different, and that is to go over to some environment, you know, art. I know it's the same thing there. I didn't really do too much environment things before. I tried this out, and this is one of my attempts at doing so. And I thought that, you know, environments are very detailed. There are like things everywhere on you can go out on, you know, the street yourself and kind of find yourself in a street like this, for example, and you can find like small pieces of the asphalt or some cigarette butts or things that nobody really notices. So I wanted to make a street kind of, just a small alley or something, and put some details and stuff like that in there. So this was my attempt at doing so. And now I kind of showed you everything that I wanted to put out there. Of course, I have done much more things, but these are the things that I picked out that I enjoy doing, and that is currently out there on my portfolio, on my Facebook and things like that. And for people who wonder what I work with, you know, when it comes to 2D, you have things like Photoshop. I use that sometimes, as you probably saw in one of the pictures, and I use Krita. I think it's called Krita, right? Krita in English maybe, but yeah, Krita. It's open source software, free to download, and it is made for drawing, basically 2D art. I use that sometimes, and sometimes I use Photoshop with, you know, some brushes that you are specifically for, you know, these real pencils, kind of simulating that pencil feeling. When it comes to 3D, I try to switch around and use different software, but I always fall back to Blender. I use Blender a lot, and I kind of learned Blender. You know, it was in the beginning I didn't use it too much. I used 3D Studio Max, you know, way back like 10 years ago or something. But then I switched to Blender, and yeah, I kind of continued working with that because it was, you know, free, it's open source, and it's, you know, pretty cool, and it's keeping up with these AAA 3D software. So yeah, currently I'm using Blender, everything, all the 3D art except the forest one, I guess, was made in Blender, and I'm very satisfied with it. So when it comes to tips and tricks and recommendations, I really suggest that for people who want to do 2D art, you can have this pencil, I guess it's called like what's it called? No, this pencil with I use that all the time when I'm drawing. Wacom, there we go. A Wacom. I use a Wacom at home. I have a pretty small Wacom, but it works perfectly fine. And I use that pretty often when I'm drawing. I can't really draw with the mouse. The only time I, you know, might want to draw with the mouse is if I sketch up something on pen and paper. If I sketch it up and then, you know, kind of scan it, or I take a picture and then just do some, I kind of complete it in another software, but I'm not drawing it again with the mouse. I'm just kind of doing lines and stuff like that. So that's the only time I want to do that. I do that very rarely. I don't really find a reason to do that, you know, when I have a Wacom and all. But that works. If you don't have a Wacom, you can do it like that. You can make a sketch and then just kind of fill it out in Keita or Photoshop or your personal choice. So when it comes to 3D art, one big thing that probably if you are experienced in 3D art, the first tip that I want to give before I forget it is that there is a normal map generator online. You can just search for normal map online and put in a texture, and then it will transform it into a normal map which you can use in your 3D software. I use that all the time. That's the first recommendation and a tip that I can share with you guys. The second tip is to always focus on lighting. Lighting is pretty performance intensive. You kind of need a good computer, and even then, if you're doing like animations and stuff, it might take ages. But focus on the lighting, see what kind of optimization you can do with lighting. There are plenty actually. Turning down bounces, because in 3D it kind of simulates the real world. So you have a light source, maybe a sun or maybe a lamp or something, and you have this source of light, and when you want to see your object, the light needs to hit the object, and then you can, in Blender there's like a ridiculous high amount of bounces, because the way it works is that when you see an object, the light kind of bounces around, creating these reflections which are passing into your eyes. And when it simulates this, you can kind of turn down the bounces, and that will save you a lot of time. That's one cool tip that I want to share as well. You have things like shadows. You can do a lot of optimizations. In Blender, you can do a lot of optimizations with that. And that's basically all that I can think of on top of my head, because light and shadow are basically the essentials that you will work with when you work with 3D. So just make sure you turn down some bounces if you don't really need it for some very intensive stuff. Even then, I don't think it will, it will get so much noticed. It's just that it's trying to, get around. And also, there's like stuff coming up now for Blender called Eevee, which is a real-time rendering engine that is coming up in 2.8, and I really recommend using that as soon as it hits a stable release, because rendering in real time is so much more efficient. It is faster because the ray tracing is kind of approximated, and it's not really as pixel perfect as it is with cycles, which is today. So that's just another tip. Get it as soon as possible. If you have another rendering engine, like I know that Unreal Engine goes with real time, and Marmoset, stuff like that, you can use that right away, right now. Other than that, I think that Eevee will work fine. So anyway, I've been babbling enough about this, and I want to stop it right here, basically. So I hope that you kind of got some tips, and I just think it's fun to show off some of what I have done, and that's basically it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have anything to say, you can comment down below, maybe some questions of what I've said or similar. So also don't forget to subscribe, of course, because we're kind of growing now. I noticed that I try to stay active on Twitter, stay active on on YouTube and really respond to you guys, really talk to you guys. So subscribe too, and I see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye.